Hey, this is Nick from Remedy667.com, the best place on the internet for horror-themed fonts and typefaces. And today is Horror Font Friday, and we're going to be looking at Soul Dracula, which is, I don't know, it's some old 7-inch from the days of disco. And just look at this lettering. It's out of control. And it's obviously lettering. The A's are different. The U's are different. It's crazy. It's completely unhinged. And it's great. So let's get started. We don't have a whole lot to go with, as you can see here, but we have ligatures. I really like this ligature A better than this A. But because this A comes, kind of open, I'm going to use that one. I got a C and D. It's weird that I don't have an E. I have a lot of repeating characters here. L-O. I'm going to duplicate my R and use that as the P. And S. And that's pretty much what we got for characters. So I'm going to do probably a little bit of chopping with some of this, just to give us a little bit more variation. But for right now, this is what we've got to go with. I'm going to pull this U over here. Oh, sorry. We also have a U. So anyway, I'm going to pull this U over here. Cut it there. Cut it there. No, that's pretty low. What do you say? Let's probably move it up a little bit, like right there. And we're going to cut that leg off of the P. Smooth that in a little bit. Oh, I see what it's doing to us. All right, so that's going to give us our P. Soul Dracula. I picked this because I thought it was really cool. Not because I thought it was going to be a quick. So I'm sorry if I try to rush through it, or if I go too slow. I'm kind of working from some new stuff. I didn't get a new. I re-downloaded an older version of Illustrator the other day to kind of help. This is the version that I use at work, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before. It's an older version. I want to say it's version 29.5 or 26.5. 29.5. The reason I chose this version is because look at how smooth the zoom in and out is. And in the layer panel, when I'm going through this, I can tab through the names. That's really great. Really love that. Both of those features are incredible and not really in newer versions of Illustrator. However, the fact that when I am drawing, you'll notice when I have two pieces over each other, the outline kind of disappears when I'm using the pencil tool. That's no fun. That's also kind of specific to this version. You win some, you lose some, I guess. I don't know. I mean, all different people have different things they're trying to accomplish with a different program, so, you know. Can't please everybody, I guess. I don't know. Also, I know it's cool to hate on Adobe or whatever, but I'm not upset. Watching some weird techno version of The Mummy. Apparently. I mean, I don't know. I have a... Not sure if you can hear the weird music, but... Did I just cancel out my O altogether there? Let's make one of these an eye real quick. I feel like making both of these legs to an I or an H or an N or an M is going to greatly help us on our journey. I want an E. You know we make E's with F's around here. Strike that, reverse it. Oh, I think somebody's dying. Mummy's curse gets them every time. We're working in tight quarters right now because I didn't really... I don't know. I guess I can just pull this side over and that'll help a lot. But I didn't really pre-plan a lot of this very well. I don't think I ever really do, but... This is going to be my G. I mean, I don't... And this, I'm actually going to cut there. I want it to be a little higher. You see how that disappears, though? That there's no line for me to follow. Just blind. Thanks, Illustrator 29.5. And I know that gets fixed in later versions of Illustrator, but the tabbing, oh man, like I need that. It's a vital piece to my process, and I feel weird busting out my work computer to do it on, like, oh, let's just transfer the file over to this computer because it has a version of Illustrator that isn't a clunky piece of junk. And no. Group those. Oh, the J actually has a couple different ones we could build it from. But check this one out, huh? Out of control, right? I know I don't normally build J's right off the bat, but that came out nicer than I thought. We got a K. We've already got an L. Look at that. The L's already living over there. Look at... Holy moly. We're just burning through this bad boy. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's make a D. What do you say? Or a B. What did I say? case anybody wonders what we're watching today, it's The Tale of the Mummy. Russell Mulcahy, or Mulcahy. I guess I could read it off the back. This font's hard to read, just like fonts that I make. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe it's like the Dracula 2000 version of the Mummy. I'm going to bring that in a little bit just to tighten it. Because look at how tight some of these are. This F could actually tighten in a little bit too. And I'm going to just give it a little bit of variation from the E. Little bitty. There we go. Now it's a different letter. Could you believe we're already at K? And we're still going? Now there's like a ninja. I don't know what the hell's going on. This movie's out of control. I want this. So I like this K. I think it should be higher. If that makes sense. More like this. Means I gotta erase my drips. Because the drips don't make sense upward. Unless you have seen some of my other fonts where I do that. But because it hasn't occurred like that anywhere else in this, it doesn't make sense for this one. But some nice new drips down and out look good. Well, I don't know how I'm going to make... Oh, I know how I'm going to make my M. I'm going to make it with this A. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing already. Same issue we're going to run into here. But I'm going to cut that one off because I'm going to use these drips down here. Just because I don't think my drips look as good as the original ones here. I just didn't pull it off as well as I feel they did. That is a personal hang-up. Oh, did you see that? It let me see it that time. And this time we're going in blind. There we go. Group it. Don't forget that little one at the bottom. Move that out of the way. Maybe it'll end up being a period or something sometime. Who knows? Don't care. I'm going to smooth that out because as you can see, that repetition's happening in the H and the M. And the other thing I'm going to do to vary this N is just switch those two around. This U has an interesting kind of curve to it. And the drips are in like a bit of a different area. I think I can use that to my advantage in the N. Group. That N gets a little thick. I think it looks a little more like one of my fonts than this piece of lettering kind of started looking like. All right. OPQRS. All right. Looks like it's tea time. That's a little golf joke. And American Daddy makes some funny thing about, oh, it's a golf term or a golf joke. Like if you understand when Stan doesn't know anything about golf, it's pretty good. The guy says something about playing around. He's like, oh yeah, we can play around, whatever. Play hooky. Go on the monkey bars. He's like, no, a round of golf. That's a little golf joke. All right. Enough about that. A V. We're just going to end this real quick. Because it's been going on for hours, it feels like. I actually set a timer. I'm surprised it hasn't gone off yet. I didn't set a timer. Imagine how embarrassing I would be if I was in the video and my timer started going off. I think I've done that before, actually. But my timer starts going off and my font's not, my letters aren't drawn yet. I would be so embarrassed. I don't think I would cry or anything, but I would be so embarrassed. I don't know what's going on with this lettering or this movie. Everything's nuts. The X is definitely going to get built from this K. I know I always talk about doing that. I feel like I never do. I probably always do. I know I do quite a bit. Does require a little bit of redrawing. Of parts. Still not paying much attention to the Y. But the Z is there, so I guess I'm going to take the V and the T. This is going to be a weird one, folks. I'm going to align, whoa, the top bar. It's gone. You forget how much you use it. And then it disappears because you hit a keyboard command. And then you forget what it's called. And it's really hard to bring back. I'm going to save myself any more embarrassment. And I'll just go ahead and Google that after you leave. And then next week we'll have our bar back again. And there is a pretty crunchy looking Y. Has it been 17 minutes? We do this a lot in 17 minutes. It looks like we're at almost 19 minutes now. So what do you say? You want to see some numbers? This is Soul Dracula. Alphabetically. I'll post a link to this Soul Dracula music video and you can check it out. It's pretty wild stuff. Give me a minute. All right, well, I got a better idea. I feel like we've been doing numbers a lot lately, and we haven't looked at like some other stuff like multilingual. So let's do a little bit of multilingual. I'm gonna grab a few letters that may look kind of random if you're new here. Maybe not. I don't know. I already grabbed an A. What am I doing? Gonna need an S. I need an I. Think would be a good idea. All right, let's just start with this, and this will be our kind of multilingual beginning. So the first thing I kind of want to do with these is I'm gonna get out Pathfinder, and I'm gonna make these shapes all into one non-component shape, and then Command-Shift-G just to get them ungrouped so that they're each their own person as a letter. And then I'm going to drag the E over here. And this is something that usually comes later in the story, or actually earlier. It's a whole different part of the process. So it's kind of weird. When I do these videos, I'll do like a lot of things out of order to how I would normally do them. And I feel like it kind of keeps me on my toes and, you know, kind of still learning similar things, even though I have other processes that are like pretty much the same. Like this character equals this character. I like to keep them in a certain order sometimes. Jeepers creepers. That cough hurt. All right. Let's look at multilinguals. The first one I'm going to do is the S set, which is important for German. It's a lowercase character that is a double S. I probably know more about this character than I do any other foreign characters, and not because anything other than I took German class in high school, and that's all I know about it. It's double S. I guess a word like Straße would have it, which is, I think, street, maybe in German. It'd be like S-T-R-A-S-set. I think maybe is how you spell that. Don't quote me. The A-E, I don't know, you've seen it on the cover of that Tool album, I'm sure. Just going to group those and push them over. We got an OE. I like to push that way in and then do two things. Trim the right side of the O and trim the left side of the E. But I still like to keep that thickness in the middle. You don't want, like, you can, when you use that method, you can get a little bit too thin there. And you notice it does, because I trimmed them both, it does get a little thin, but I don't think it was too excessive. This is the F. Which is like a D with a line through it. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I'm not 100% on all the language support that you get from that character. I know it's probably similar to what you get with the Thorn, which is what this is that I'm making now, which is like a P cut in half and then going through the middle. And actually on this Thorn, I'm going to squeeze it in a little bit. I don't think I normally do that, but for some reason that one felt a little off. While I'm here, I'm just going to make my section symbol, because that's kind of where I normally do it. And this is going to flip, transform, reflect. Thank you. These drips I'm gonna actually smooth out, but I still want it to be a little jagged. And that is going to become my tilde, which we will need for Spanish. And first it's going to be the ASCII tilde, which is what I'm making right here. And then it also, you usually see it with an N. Also for Spanish, we're going to need an accent, which we will make from this top of the E here, and we're just gonna get a lot of these drips out of the way. These diacritics characters normally are pretty small, and you can lose a lot of stuff with them. All right, so with this tilde, I think what I'm going to do is small it up and then double it and pull it just to give it a little more thickness, because something, it didn't look right next to that accent. It just didn't vibe, for lack of a better word. We'll do that accent as well. It's weird doing these accents because normally where I normally do them is in a completely different part of the font. So there's another thing that we're going to need for our for our German language, and that is an umlaut, which are the two dots that you see above the U. What is happening? I don't like this pencil tool shenanigans in this version of Illustrator. I can't really complain about it because the issue's already been fixed, but it broke other things, and that's why I had to go back to this issue. So mean. All right, so we're at 27 minutes. So we're going to do another little quickity here. I'm going to take this piece and kind of just cut a piece off it, widen it up a bit, apparently angle it up a bit too. The guy on the TV is telling the story of the mummy. The sad tale. So there's a lot of other stuff that happens in between, but let's get back to this umlaut. So you have two dots. I like to keep them try to make them a similar width to those. I'll duplicate that also and delete one of them, and that gives us our dot accent, which is another diacritic character. I don't know what language that's for off the top of my head either, but there you have it. So that'll give us German and Spanish capability. Did I forget any characters? Probably. Feel free to leave them in the comments. I know for one, there's a, I feel like this is called like the ordinal and the accent or something, but it's like a superscripted A kind of. I didn't make that character. That's usually one of the last characters I make when I'm making fonts. I call them the smalls. All my superscripts, ordinals, asterisk, Karen, and I keep those all around the same height. And what I use for height when I do those is the top of the percentage, that 0. So there you go. There's your chicken nugget of the day. This is Nick from Horror Font Friday and Remedy667.com. Go check it out. I'm trying to pick up the pace and get some of these fonts released. So if you like them, let me know. I'll throw them up on Remedy667. We'll throw them up on Creative Market or wherever you like to go. And until then, I will see you next week for Horror Font Friday. Later.